Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. We're going to burn a couple of seconds to make sure everybody can click past those commercials that seem to be on every single one of my live streams. And now that we're about 10 seconds past, I thank everybody's here. Hopefully, we got all of you. So let's all have ourselves a small drink and let's get to it. So, going by my notes, I got a decent amount of notes because you guys been pretty up on the comment section. I just want to go over a few things. There will unfortunately not be a video dropping tonight. Simply, I've run out of time. Straight up, I have run out of time. It's actually written. I got the written portion done. I got the rest of, or I should say most of the written portion, because tonight you guys are going to have a chance to help out with this next story. Because as good as I am at writing them, there are some things I can't do everything. Pure and simple. Sorry, let me adjust things here. Something knocked my camera for some reason. All right. Last week, somebody said, look up Sins of the Solar Empire and see what I thought. And you're right. It was very interesting. The cinematics were pretty good for what they wanted to be. Those of you who haven't seen it, it's not bad. They're video game cinematics, so take them as there is, because over the past few years, cinematics have gotten quite good over time. But they've made a huge jump in the past couple of years, mainly thanks to the Unreal Engine. And I'll tell you what, some of the stuff is coming out of there is absolutely nuts. It's unbelievably good. And, I think Squadron 42, if you guys get a chance to watch that, you can see the difference between Sins of the Solar Empire and Squadron 42 in just a couple of years. That being said, I will say, if I was supposed to get into the Solar Empire, that looks very, very, very in-depth, which stands to reason, because you're talking about or more than one system. You're talking several galaxies wide of a conflict on that. And just travel time alone, along with the time it takes to take down one planet, by the time you send enough forces to take said planet, you might be hit from another direction, and then you have the lines constantly moving. It is just the way it is, and that's the way warfare goes, period. Especially when you start using things like drone ships. Yes, I still have the list of drone ships. I have that on the list of things I got to get to, and that's going to be that's going to be fun. Let's see. Let's see. You guys put on some comments for the Spoils of War over the past week. Now that one is done. I don't plan on doing any more with Spoils of War. A few people have asked if that would continue. It won't. See, that's going to be the last series for a while. Also, a lot of things with the channel itself. I don't know if you've seen the actual subscriber count where you guys are, but it actually took a very big dip when I was doing a whole lot of series. And that's not what most people come here for. And you guys can tell me if that's something you like in the comment section or in the chat room. However, whichever one you prefer, let me know. Also, if you have any requests. But for right now, they're just going to be one-offs. I get a lot of questions. Is this going to continue? Nope, not for a while. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah, when somebody said broadswords, oh my God, I just had a wargasm. I'm sorry, that was funny. That was just funny. And yes, I want to use broadswords because katanas are severely overused even in sci-fi. The laser dildos, I don't like using those for sword fights because it doesn't make sense. If it's a solid piece, all you're going to do is slide down the side. There's no hilt on the damn thing, so you're going to cut someone's arm off. The Star Horse uses some sort of space magic on that, whatever. On the story, humanity is ripe. Also, again, you guys come up with some really good ones. Oh, humans are easy to take? We're going to stop you right there. That was pretty good. You guys really come up with some funny ones. Just like the one right before that said, the honey badger. Oh, it's so cute. Nope. It's not. Let's see. And also the when it came down to the humans, are they pack bonding? Are they symbiotic, or are they just gonna Yeah. So whoever put in Octopussy as a comment, I didn't even think about that. I'm not a huge Bond fan, so yeah, that was just hilarious, dude. I almost laughed until I farted on that one. There was a question on the story. Which human clan is it? Uh, Somebody wanted to know if that was a 40K reference. It is absolutely not. Absolutely not. You guys know it would take me way too long to study 40K to make a decent story out of it and pay homage to the original story. It's a preset story, it's a preset series. Everything's preset. I'd have to go by their rules, and I just do not have the time to sit there for weeks on end and study all the different things about what's one of those the big elf looking, the demon hairs or whatever the hell their names are. It's strange. They have their whole society and all those little intricacies I would have to know. I did one 40K story and it kind of sort of blows. So yeah, it's not 40K. However, that one was originally meant to be a series. It's not going to be. It's going to hold off where it is. Somebody mentioned how you don't shoot at Doc. I'm like, no shit. But then again, if an alien saw that red cross, you know what it's going to think? Ooh, that's a target. It's been a common thing. I'm sure you've all heard that in a lot of the science fiction nowadays. Now, I will say there was two symbols being used in there that I only hinted at. One person said it straight up what it was, but eventually after he put that in the comment section, yes, it was the U.S. Navy symbol. However, a Navy anchor is used across the board in pretty much all of them. So you don't know if it's the American Navy or someone else's. However, let's face it, you just realize who you just pissed off and you just screwed with their boats. They're not going to be happy. You know, don't touch the boats. Don't do that. We don't like that. On the one, respectfully enter the void. Apparently the name threw people off a little bit, but they're like, okay, I get it by the end. Some people dive into some very strange areas on that one. I was trying to figure out a couple of the comments because they kind of went off there on the side. I was a little lost. And somebody said, and I swear this is a common thing, built different. Yeah, we are built a bit different. We're actually built different than pretty much everything else on this planet. That's why some people think we're the aliens on this planet. I don't ever think I'll write a story based on that. I could. It would be very, very, very derivative. It can only be done really one way. Besides, there's a group, something about tology. They touch on that, and I can't even say the whole word on here without this stream immediately being deleted. So we're just gonna leave it on that. I do have to ask the question though. When I put on Mark II, which is large M, small K, and then the number is the Mark whatever. For those of you who are not up on military doctrine, Mark something is just the extended version. Like if they said an M1 Abrams Mark II, M1 Abrams Mark III, that's why they have M1, A1, A2, A3. The A is actually stands for pretty much the same thing, but it just basically means model number. Hopefully the kind of jump at the end you guys enjoyed. A few people thought that was good, but I'm hoping it actually it played up. You guys got to let me know if things crash and burn. Oh, and by the way, yes, that was meant to be a joke. The number of eyes, one eye on the species known as the Schmeckle. And if you don't get that by now, I'm not going to explain it anymore because, again, I don't want to get demonetized on here. So hopefully that joke didn't go, nyong. All right, that I kind of run through the comment section on the previous or on the from the videos really quick so we can get to the more interesting parts of this. I do have to ask on this, and everybody just let me know. Do you guys hear the mouse clicking when I do the videos? Hold on a second. Hold up. Wait a second. We got a $10 super chat from MTF Guard. Let me write this down so you get yours for the week. He says, got an idea for one. Humanity thinks that they're going to meet with aliens, but when they meet up, they find out it's actually humans from another galaxy, and Earth humans are a lost colony. Ooh, that's interesting. Let me write that down real quick. I'm going to make sure I'm not stepping over my own notes here. Human meet alien. The only reason I got to write these down, guys, is because as soon as I end this stream, these all disappear. I hope that's not all Battlestar Galactica. Alien equal human. Whoop. Other galaxy. And Earth equals lost colony. Okay, so I'm trying to do this shorthand, folks, so I don't go too far off the side. That being said, yep, I got it written down. That's actually a pretty good one. It will not be the next one done because that's right here. But again, we're going to be talking about that in here a second. But yeah, let me know if the whole mouse click is drawing you guys away. If it is, I'm going to have to basically put a big towel right here to try and stop the noise. Either that or buy another mouse, but all mouses click as far as I know. I think that's something they put in just for shits and giggles. Thankfully, also, guys, we can get back away from the politics because the erection is over. Finally, we can get away from the fucking politics. Nobody wants to deal with politics. Politics is boring. Politics is bullshit. Politics is just crap. And pretty soon, I'm going to be doing my Crazy Uncle channel, and I'm just going to be doing... I don't have time to put the visuals. It's just going to be me doing the rant and just setting my point and saying, here you go, deal the fuck with it. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret. One of them, I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest fraud, waste, and abuse in the U.S. Army. It's called Ranger School. Not the Rangers themselves. As long as they stay in Ranger Regiment, they're fine. No worries. Ranger School itself is bullshit because guess what? They say they have 300 slots. They don't. They have 200. Or they say they have 400. And then they just say, no, we only have 3. What happens to that other 100? They stop counting your push-ups at 21 or 22. You can be an Olympic level athlete, and they'll just stop counting. And then they say, oh, look how tough our school is. 30% of them fail. He's sitting there yanking his own crank, and they're on their knees sucking each other off. I'm done with their bullshit because guess what? You probably don't know this, but the big army doesn't pay for it. The unit that sent the folks down there has to pay for them to be there to basically be the Rangers' bitch for a few months, which means it takes away from the training budget of everyone else. And everyone's like, well, the Rangers get the most training. Yeah, because your training budget isn't getting siphoned off, you motherfucker. Anyway, there's going to be a hell of a lot more to that, but that's a little taste of what I'm going to be going on. Speaking of military stuff, and this is what I was going to get into on here. This one here has got military jokes and stuff about laughing in the face of not getting over on each other, but crazy shit people say in combat that is just like, seriously? You're going to say that dumb shit? That's crazy. You are a crazy motherfucker. And I've got a few. I got some historical references in here too as well. But if you know any, you can either drop them down in the comments section down there. I saw you look, you meat gazer, down that way, or you can put them over here in the comment section of the box or the chat box. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to write them down because that's going to extend this story a little bit. Right now, it's only looking about maybe a 5-minute long video. So on that note, I do have to say, hold on. We got a fire going. It just sucks the moisture out of the air. It just makes you very, very thirsty. Before I go any further, I do have to say this. As a reminder, anyone who drops a bill or higher over the course of a week doesn't have to throw anything else, and you will get an entire month worth of shout outs. Just as a reminder, Demon, Chris, Guardian, you guys are still on. So if you throw anything else, that's just extra cheese. You're still going to get your shout outs, just like Guard is going to get his. So just a heads up to everybody there. I do very much appreciate, and you guys know, because at the end of my videos, I always give the shout out. So I'm going to go over here to the box, and we're going to get going. Most everybody, when he first got in, was saying hi. Guard got here early. Oh, the notification finally works. And Doug is here. Hey, Drill, how you doing? I am doing okay. I can't say I'm doing great. I can't say I'm doing bad. I'm doing okay. Thankfully, I just found out my nephew is finally getting lined himself up right. He's realizing that he's about to leave high school and he doesn't actually have a direction. So he's picking a direction and going. Because like the man says, a lot of times it's not knowing what the right thing to do is. It's at least doing something. You do something. You don't just sit around, which is great. You know, I wish I had had that wherewithal when I was 18. I didn't. I was lost. And I ended up going to college, which was an absolute waste of money. And honestly, when I went to college and I took my creative writing courses, they couldn't believe how good I was at it. I didn't know I had it. Well, I kind of knew I had a talent for creativity. Just like some people out there don't know they can draw until they actually sit there and actually get an assignment, and they spend a lot of time and they realize, oh, wait, I can actually do this. And then they practice a little bit, and then you guys get really good. It's the same thing with people who play the piano or any other instrument, stuff like this. You don't know till you're there. And college just killed me when it came to writing, because they said, well, if you don't have a degree in literature, no one's going to give a shit. And they were right, because Penguin Publishing was the first ones to tell me to go fuck myself. And right now I can tell them to find the darkest part of my ass and they can kiss it repeatedly. Actually, no, as woke as they're getting, I don't want them anywhere near my ass. Okay, Eric is here. Someone who's truly outrageous, as she says, hello, you happy people. I love the way you say that, because I just had Avenue Q run through my head. You know, ready, normal people? The internet is for... Never mind. All right. Guard says, breaking news. China just released newest stealth fighter, the J-35A, which is literally a cheap knockoff of the F-35 in shape of everything, but it's still being outperformed by the F-35. Yes, I am well versed in the F-35, or sorry, actually, I think it's JU. No, you're right. It is J. I'm thinking the ordnance. The J-35, the J-57, and all those. The J-35 is a hunk of shit. They keep saying, oh, look, we have a bunch of these things. And then they look at the satellite and they're fake planes. They're props, because the wings are snapping off in the breeze and they're literally laying there next to the fuselage. The same thing with the 57. The 57 is what you saw if you watched the Maverick movie, with that really long, sleek, and has the two sets of wings, two up front, two in the rear. The thing is considered basically a cheaper stealth bomber. The problem is their stealth doesn't fucking work. The J-35 and 57, along with their, trying to remember, I think it's Lancer, I believe it's called. Those things, wow. They actually break the laws of physics by sucking and blowing at the same time. Reason being, if you look at the Japanese carrier, the only one they have, it actually has not only catapults, but it actually has a ramp on it, a ski jump ramp. They need that just to get the base plane, no ordnance, off the deck, because they cannot produce an engine that's strong enough to get their fucking bird off the fucking deck. So it's kind of embarrassing, really. If they were truly to go to fight for fight, saying the Chinese Air Force versus one or two of our carrier groups, we literally say, there's the floor, let's mop it with the Chinese when it comes to air power, because their stuff sucks. Everything they have is a knockoff. They call it tofu dreg for a reason. It falls apart. They just had another one. It literally spun up its turbines. There's a fire burst out one of the sides. They haven't even turned the other turbine on yet. It literally caught fire. The whole thing just burned up right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, that works. Yeah. No, that's just terrible. The F-35, though, is being mass produced and sold to pretty much everybody. The UK's got them. India's got them. Israel's got them. France has got them. Everybody's freaking got them. Everybody's buying them. But you give me one F-22 and it'll just take out all the F-35s in the air. They're scary good. They're also scary expensive. Holy fucking ballsack. Actually, no, you don't want a holy ballsack. That'd be bad. But yeah, the J-35A is just, if it gets off the deck, it won't have enough ordnance to fight. It won't have the ability to actually counter any ordnance coming at. For those that don't know aerial combat, you get a missile fired at you, especially if you're up at, say, Angels 20 or 20,000 feet. Your first thing to do is to pop flares. And if you can't fire back, the first thing you do is you turn your nose to the ground and you try to back away. What you're trying to do is not outrun the damn thing. You're trying to make it bleed off energy. And once it runs out of thrust, if it's not close enough, it's not going to be able to perform. It's not going to be able to touch you. As soon as they actually are able to scoop away like that, again, it's going to bleed off its energy on the way there, and then you're going to defeat the missile that way. Then you just come up, you get a lock, and fire back. That being said, can you always defeat them? No, that's what flares are for. That's what chaff is for. That's what all those extra things are for. So anyway, that's my side rant on the Chinese aircraft, which is honestly hunks of shit. They haven't had a good aircraft since the 1950s. And those were only on par with our 1950s aircraft. Okay. Alan saying, hello all. And Guardians, greetings, mortals and other assorted beings. Yes. Guard, I'm not shocked. I'm shocked. I'm not that shocked. Okay. Doug says, U.S. is working on a seventh generation fighter and a hypersonic bomber. They've already done that, the B-21. That thing is like spicy Dorito on like ghost pepper. I mean, that thing is spooky. There's no actual windows on the damn thing, except on the very, very sides where the pilot has to back up a little bit just to see. And that's just to help them taxi a little bit. The reason being they're going to be so fast that no clear or transparent anything will be able to handle that much pressure. It will literally implode in the guy's face. And let's just say at that speed, you don't want that happening. As just being nice, you just don't want that happening. That being said, with all this new generation stuff, if they will just release the fucking tech, okay? I don't know if you guys watch any of the videos of the creepy shit they find online, and people usually put it in TikTok videos or something like that. I've seen compilation videos of these, and a lot of them have video evidence. Not only have they found a way to create basically an ether reactor out of something about twice the size of a cell phone or twice the size of a pack of playing cards, but that one, when they built it in the 1950s and they got actual video of this, it could power a couple things, a couple of lights and whatever. He was a kid. Okay. I don't know if he was 14 years old or 12 or whatever. He was really, really young. He made a video where he made his own little ether reactor with less than $20 worth of materials, and it ran his fucking house. The very next day, him and his mom, because she was a single mother, they both just disappeared off the face of the earth. But somebody had archived the video and it's out there. However, if you want to build this thing and cut yourself off the grid, you might find yourself being, fart in the wind as well. This is the type of shit that blows my mind. We could have such better technology than we have now. So much better. But we don't. We don't because certain people and certain industries, you can actually name them. We got the oil industry, the pharmaceutical industry. Those are the two biggest ones right there. and the energy industry, which is linked with the petroleum, but not quite. It's really, really close, but it's not quite there. But there's also the medical industry. You're not actually being healed. You're given drugs to deal with whatever you're dealing with, which is total bullshit. Okay. Give me the frequency healing that I can put on this meat suit and I can friggin' regen myself. Okay. I'd like to get my 20 some odd year old self back. That'd be really nice. I'd like to have all the cartilage back in my knee. That would be really, really nice. I would like all the shit that's swimming around my body to disappear, because guess what? It's kind of bad when you've been around the world about 8, 9 times. You don't know what the hell's swimming around in your meat suit. If you can get rid of most of that, guess what? You'll be feeling a whole lot better. But no, heaven forbid you actually are able to take care of yourself. And the kicker is, when they finally release the energy, the medical stuff comes with it. The 0-point generator has been noted for this because they work on frequencies. Duh. Energy works on frequencies. Okay. I digress. Okay, let me... Okay. Erica here talking about the bomber, saying, I blame China's Temu mindset for this one. Yeah, Temu can smurf my balls. You got Doug here saying, I'm rather curious how aliens will react to a skunk. I'm writing that down. Aliens react to skunk. I mean, I know what they would do with skunk works, but not an actual skunk. That would be hilarious. A little Kentucky cologne, right in the eyes, especially someone who's a lot shorter with bigger eyes. That skunk can bullseye a target at 10 feet. That's been noted. Don't ask me how they did that, because honestly, I don't know. And I really don't think I want to see the video, because that would be kind of gross. Okay. War Sniper here. Hey, War Sniper. How you doing? So the story of the guy with guns that transported to the other world that became the master healer, where I have sent in a story idea with the 4 Kunsunes and a hidden dragon god, is not coming. Yes, it is. Okay. It is, but it is farther down the road. Reason being, again, the channel, when I do long series, unless somebody's committed to said series, the channel takes a major hit. I have to do what's right for the channel. I would like to do more of that story. I'd also like to do more of Ambush Predators, but that one's on the list here for next month. Let me write this down again. The Isekai and Ambush. I really got to get my office finished downstairs so I can get all this stuff down. Once that's done, you guys will see a whiteboard behind me where a lot of notes will be scribbled around, and you guys can enjoy reading it behind my head. Yeah, it's not coming for a while, but it will. It will. I got a plus up because I went over 9,000 and then I dropped to like 8,900, and I'm just back up towards 9,000 again. I took a big hit. Okay, Lena says Warhammer 40K lore is so simple. Elf orgy created demon god, blood for the blood god, and war never changes. You don't need to know that the emperor is a dark king. Well, I mean, I know enough about the emperor to know all about that fun stuff. It's just the little stuff. It's the little things that make the story. And something as simple as, I've done stories like about elves, and I've been lambasted because they're like, high elves don't do that. Spirit elves do that. And then I'll do an add and adjust that. And somebody's like, no, spirit elves don't do that. Dark elves do that. So I adjust it. No, not dark elves. Then the forest elves do that. And it's just like a dozen different ones, to include half elves. I mean, what do you do? Slice one in half? No, I know they mated with something else, but still, it's the little things that everybody who's really big into the lore, like if I went to and did a BattleTech story and said, okay, now all the battle mechs are now autonomous. They're drones now. Somebody would want to kill me. because that's not how that works. Although if I hear one more person say, well, I'll just flood the area with Savannah Masters. Yeah, do that in a forested area, you dumbass. That was a fun one. I was about to write a whole thing about that, and then Sacred Cow Shipyards beat me to the point with the Savannah Master thing he did. It's like, oh my God, they'll just be everywhere, zipping around, fucking up your this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, yeah, that's what those things are good for. But I wouldn't want to get in mech combat with those things because a mech can lock onto you. It's a couple of kilometers away. Next thing you know, you're getting a 20 rack missile up the nose. I'm sorry, but that would be a hell of a hit up the nose, 20 rack. What do they call it? LRMs are a hell of a drug, stuff like that. Where was I? Okay, and there's guard stuff here. Yeah, I try to stay away from Battlestar Galactica because a lot of its story, a lot of its results of the battles are very plot driven. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean, just the plot armor that's there is stronger than Beskar. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And some things just don't make sense. I mean, why in the hell would you deliberately charge in with your strongest ship? Or better yet, why the hell would you leave your strongest ship behind when you know you're going to be attacking the enemy, waiting for your strongest ship to go in, knowing that if it gets whacked a couple of times, the FTL goes offline? Why don't you just bring both ships in, pull the enemy towards you, and then just lambaste them with your big fucking guns? Because that bigger ship has bigger fucking guns. Like, compared to the Galactica, the Pegasus was literally twice as strong, if not more so. So pushing it off to the side, why? Because the Battlestar has got to be the hero. Fuck that noise. Okay? You want a hero ship, you go listen to Mark II, which I just finished. I know you guys, I don't want to say too much because some people haven't actually listened to it yet. But there's a reason for all that. And by the way, that story was supposed to be completely different, but I wanted to actually pay homage to a certain ship. And you guys that listen to it, you know what I'm talking about. And let's see, where was I? Okay. Guards here also saying, oh yeah, another bit of news. China's newest MBT is pretty much a cheap hybrid of the main battle tank, by the way, is a hybrid of the Abrams and the T-90. Really? If you look at pictures, all three of them, you can see they're trying to get the inspiration. Here's my problem with the Chinese tanks. And you guys can find video of this. No bullshit. They were trying to sell their tanks to Russia. They were doing a showing, and the freaking road wheel fell off. Or at least one of them. It started warping because the metal being used, they went skimpy and used a weaker metal. It started wobbling, and it kind of just popped off during the middle of the demonstration. I'm sorry, but if your tank can't stay together in open range, just going through a couple of little drills, it's not going to last very long in combat. Then they got video of the damn thing going to the range, and the main gun starts burning off inside. The crew got the hell out, which I can't say I blame them. And there you see somebody yelling at them to get back in the tank, and they're just like, screw you, buddy. I'm not getting anywhere near that thing. And then the magazine blows, takes the turret, flips it off like a fucking wine cork into the air, chucking like 200 feet up. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not too worried. You might get one or two hits from 50 of these things, but seriously, tofu dread construction. And yet the thing is they'll pop these tanks out, they'll roll them out like freaking marbles. I mean, they'll just make so many of them, but they suck. Something that doesn't suck is Erica, let me write you down, with a $5 super chat. And she says, thank you for everything. I was going for Droopy. Droopy. Am I droopy? I know I need to lose some weight. Was that a fat joke? I'm kidding. Thank you very much, Erica. You too, Guard, and everybody else listening. I do appreciate you guys visiting me this week. I very much do. Let me, again, thanks. And let me get back up here so I can go over the god awful tanks that the China has. And yeah, they suck. The armor's actually so bad that the Bradley's main gun can punch through it. So it's just a up version or tracked version of the God damn it. I just had a brain fart. Folks, I'm sorry. It just stopped. The words literally stopped right in the front of my head and they wouldn't go any further. I was looking for BMP. It's a tracked BMP with a larger gun that doesn't work. So, yeah, the China tanks are shit. Everything they make is shit. I'm waiting until a certain person gets in office and starts pulling all the industry back into this country so we don't have to get our circuits from India. We don't have to get our freaking transformers. And I don't mean Megatron and Optimus, the ones for our power lines from a country that hates us. Maybe they can start building cell phones and tablets and stuff in this country, which would be really fucking nice. But, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to rant about that. It's just I'm tired of watching the economy go to shit because one person makes a lot of money and 99.99999% of the world goes to hell. So, Erica is sitting here saying, sometimes I hear it probably about the clicking. Yeah, they do make quiet ones. I would have to look into a quiet. Now I feel like an asshole because I don't want it to take away from the story. I don't want to take you guys out of the immersion. That's kind of the point of the story. You want to keep the immersion. I'll see what I can do about finding one that doesn't make as much noise. Leonid saying, yeah, sounds like Battlestar Galactica. Lords of Cobalt? 12 human colonies and some planet named Dirt with human Cylon hybrids. Aren't there only supposed to be 12 versions of the Cylons? And then they're like, well, yeah, about a season later, they're going to change. No, actually, there's 50. Sorry, I had to wet my whistle there. Guard saying, isn't crazy, Uncle. Also, Uncle Sin topics. Yeah, I could do that too. The thing is that I'm going to be talking about some really sensitive areas on the Crazy Uncle channel, and I don't want that associated with it. This channel is strictly entertainment, make you enjoy a story, and not get into any serious shit. This is escapism on this channel. And, you guys give some really good ideas. I got a whole bunch of them buried in here. And, like here with somebody hacking the cyberjack that everyone, in other words, everybody getting the Starlink and suddenly it gets hacked and you're like, oh, what the hell? Oh, hold on. Let me get down here. We got another $5 super chat from Guardian Sage. He says, American made used to mean something. Yes, it did. Hopefully we can make it mean something again. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. I don't want to get too much into politics here, but I will say if we can just kill off NAFTA, we'll be doing better. Those of you who are somewhere else that don't know, North American Free Trade Agreement. And it was a disaster. Everybody knew it was a bad idea, but they didn't believe there was anything we could do to stop it. But now that we've gone from the analog age when that came in to the information age, and by the way, now we're entering a new age. If you haven't noticed, we're actually entering the robotic age, believe it or not. Robotics are becoming a thing. It's not just the Roomba that cleans your carpet. We're talking about actual fucking humanoid robots are coming out. We're also having drones. Drones have become the key thing in open warfare. Tanks are getting fucked up. You get a $30 million tank destroyed by a $250 drone with another $500 worth of ordnance on it. I'd say that's a pretty good trade-off. And it's one of those things I kept telling my guys, because I was infantry, you don't go in open area ever. Unless you have absolutely no choice, you do not go in open areas. Foliage is your friend. Foliage will make sure somebody doesn't find you, because if they can find you, they can shoot at you. If they can shoot at you, they can hit you. If they can hit you, they can kill you. It's the same thing with the onion there, the onion protection, or the protected onion, however you want to put it. Let's see. Up here, we got Alan. Here's a miscommunication with the military's 1,000 nicknames from different units to the aliens understanding the function of the unit. I'm going to write that one down. That's a good one for, the next story coming up. For those who just joined, we'll let you know that the story for tonight isn't going to drop just yet, because I'm looking for more stuff, crazy crap you might hear on the battlefield. And I just want to take notes so I can throw more in here. And that's actually a good one. Military nicknames. We actually call it jargon. Military jargon and call signs, things like that. I actually knew somebody, his call sign was monkey nuts. I kid you not. Boy, they did not like hearing monkey nuts on the radio. Not his voice, but the actual call sign. And they didn't like it because we assigned it to the Marines. Hey, monkey nuts, get your tracks moving. Who you calling monkey nuts? You asshole, move it. Oh shit. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Grunts, ground pounders. Well, they actually call tankers call us crunchies, believe it or not, because that's the sound we make. And we have another $5 super chat, this time from the Demon. He says, "Sorry, I'm late. Just woke up again. I woke up 2 hours early, looked at the time, rolled over, slept through the alarm, and now it's late. Oh, 8 minutes late. No problem. Absolutely no problem at all. Everybody's glad you're here. I know Brian's here too. Anyways, glad you made it, Demon, and hopefully you guys are liking the shout outs at the end of the videos as well. Oh, by the way, if you guys see Black Trapper in the chat, let him know I need something besides, unless he thinks it's funny too, when he gets a shout out, besides Admiral Akbar going, "It's a trap." That's all I could think of, because I didn't want to hit the race thing. So, but yeah, as far as the jargon goes, ground pounders is one, like I said, crunchies, bullet sponges, we've been called that, because we're 11 Bravos, we're 11 bullet catchers. Yeah, I've done that once and it hurts. Okay. Leonid says the story about Starlink satellite dish on the U.S. Navy warships is hilarious. Yeah, the fact that the Navy's getting all pissy about it. That's the funny part to me. Although I didn't like the fact that they're stopping people from bringing Starlink into the hurricane areas. I'm like, seriously, how else are you going to communicate? All the cables and stuff are down. Satellite and cell phones don't work. Or at least cell phones don't work. Guard says, well, some actual good news, though, that the M3A2 Abrams program has been restarted, which means the Abrams is getting an even bigger overhaul with even better equipment and a semi-auto loader. Good. They need to, as much as I like the fact that a loader can actually reload really quick with different ordnance, it's been well overdue for an auto loader. That being said, auto loaders don't have the best of reputations as long as they can actually get to do right. There is a video online, if you guys end up finding it, where some guys actually built the shell of like a Bradley, and inside they have the driver and he's got the actual levers to drive World of Tanks. And then you have a guy, instead of him using the control, he's got like cranks and stuff to rotate the turret. And you actually have a loader, but he's loading bottles of soda. I'm like, first off, yes. Secondly, where in the fuck did you find the time for this? 3, I want to do that. I mean, that just looks fun. Even if you only go one round, that just looks fun. But the new Abrams, I hate to say it, but thanks to drones, armor it's not really got its day anymore. The tank is going to go the way of the battleship. What I mean by that is that the tank is not going to go away, period. However, the tank is going to be used in a different way. I don't have the specs on the M3A2. I can't say too much. I can say this. If they do not have guided munitions that fire out of that thing, they might as well scrap the entire project, because you need guided munitions. You need anti-air guided munitions, and you need ground-to-ground munitions, preferably something that's a fire and forget system. You can keep the main gun, but you might only go in with half as much ammo. Granted, most tank battles, even today, only last, what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes? I think the Battle of 73 Easting was only 2.5 minutes long. I mean, because you can, once you lock on a target, and believe me, I've been in those turrets, it takes about a second to get on target, and then you just hear loader on the way, boom, and that son of a bitch fires. And it's the world's largest tracer round as it goes down there and it fucks somebody's face in. But yeah, if any military analyst, as far as weapons, doesn't put into account that drones have changed the battlefield, they need to be fucking fired, forced into retirement or something, because if they don't understand that, they need to go the fuck away. That's why in that last story I did, you notice they had a weapon and a way of any weapon for any situation on that ship. They also had a defense for any situation on that ship. For good reason. You need it. Better to have and not need than really need and not have. It'd be like going into a naval battle without your, I was going to say repair crew, but that's not the right one. It's your damage control team. So anyways, on to the next one here. Guard says, pretty much every time the gun fires, the door will slide open and a small armhole hold out the shell for the crew member to load it in. Oh, it's a side breach now. Oh, fuck me. Sideways. No, that's bad. That's wrong. No. How do I know this is a bad idea? They did the same thing with our grenade launchers. We went from the M203, which slid up forward. You literally had to face it down to load it. You dropped your round in, you closed it, you brought it up, and you fired. If you watch on Black Hawk Down, the guy actually, he fires the 203. He misses the technical, the truck with a machine gun on it. He opens it up. The round falls out. He has to lower it to actually load it, lock it, and fire it. People would think, oh, you side load, you don't have to lower it. Those side loaders weigh 3 times as much. You can't carry the damn thing. You can't hit anything with it, and it fires the same fucking round. It's not more accurate. Not that I've ever seen. Everybody I know has fired them. It's like, give me the 203 back. It was a better design. Ugh. Originally, the 320, which is a side loader, was meant to have a stronger munition in it, which is one of the reasons why it's heavier. It's also designed to separate so you can use it like an old M79 thump gun from Vietnam, but nobody's going to fucking do that. You're not going to disregard your primary weapon system in combat. Whoever thought this was a good idea needs to find a good idea fairy, reach up, grab him, snap his fucking neck, and I mean the fairy, not the guy, throw the fairy down, and then smack the bastard. Be like, you're a dumbass. You just made us less effective, you fucking asshole. Ooh. These side breech loaders are a bad idea. They always have been. They always will be. These guys are morons. Okay. Let me digress. You guys are getting me on rants here. You're getting me spun up here. Okay. Leonid says healing frequency just means that you are using 432 hertz for some reason instead of 440 hertz. Frequency healing is used in several different ways. Let me say this right. Say you had tuberculosis, okay? Every single piece of tuberculosis, when you break it down through a quantum computer, you're looking at said virus. If you look, you'll actually see a sort of ring. Okay, it's not perfectly round by any means. It's kind of squiggled all the way around. All you have to do is find out what that thing is vibrating at, because it does. It vibrates at a certain frequency. You hit that same frequency, and just like if I took a piece of glass of crystal, snapped it, and then went ooh on it with that same pitch, that same tone, it overloads and it refracts upon itself, and then it shatters. Once that ring shatters, everything dies. That tuberculosis dies right there, and your body can either flush it out or let it sit there as a memento or something. That's how the frequency healing I'm talking about works when it comes to getting rid of the bugs and shit that's flying around your system. As far as the different hertz, you're talking about binaural beats. Binaural beats, you listen to the different tones on either side, and you can hear both. And inside your head, your brain compensates. So if you're hitting 440 and 450, you also hear 445. And what that does is that resonates to a certain level inside the brain to heal that part of the brain, also to crank it up, basically. You're putting a better type of fuel in the brain at that point. So those are two completely different ways of working with the frequencies that work. Healing the body with frequency can be done. They discovered it back in the late 1940s. They basically perfected it by the 1950s, yet we're not allowed to have it because the medical industry. It's not doctors, it's not hospitals, it's the medical industry. And a lot of people say, well, if you put this out, the medical industry is going to go broke. Bullshit. You're always going to need doctors because people need to get fixed up. You're still going to need first aid, so they're still going to be in business, because guess what? If you don't have a resonator around, you better be able to sew up a freaking cut or put a Band-Aid on it or something. The only thing you're going to lose on is like Neosporin's going to go out because no one's going to need it anymore, but it's a ripoff anyway. They only have 1.2% of the actual active ingredient of a naproxen. I've used 100% naproxen, and it healed my freaking feet up in less than 6 hours. Sorry, less than 8 hours. It was about 6. And I basically grew back like 4 layers of freaking skin. So yes, are certain chemicals still going to be used? Absolutely. But frequency healing is done in different ways for different parts of the body to get different results, but they fucking work. Are they the end all be all? Absolutely fucking not. But it's a good portion. Okay, down here we got Doug coming in. Doug, hey, if saying Doug is going to piss you off, just let me know and I'll change it. Doug says, many of the other sci-fi shows that you see with advanced tech are more or less documentaries. You mean like Star Trek? Yeah, the way they try to set them up, that's true. They're trying to, but the thing is, they push things up for drama, things that don't make sense. But you are right. A lot of the shows, they try to have a documentary type of feel. Certain shows, in particular Star Trek, especially the first one that came out, what they were doing was testing to see if you were able to withstand the new technology that they were working on, make you comfortable with it. And if the show was popular, they would let you know that they actually had this technology 10 years later. That way, they could ease you into it. That's the idea. But they say, well, if people didn't watch the show, then they're not ready for that tech. Bullshit, you asshole. You are, oh my God. Maybe the show just sucks. Maybe the show is woke and nobody's going to watch it. I mean, what do you think happened to, what was that Star Trek show? Oh, yes, if you say the abbreviation STD. Yeah, that was a POS is what that was. That's when nobody watched it. It was horrible. I tried to watch the reviews. I couldn't even get through the reviews. You really think I'm watching the show? Ugh. So, but yeah, the majority of these, yeah, I mean, even anime, when they do a lot of these, it has a lot of a documentary type of feel. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how else to put it. You are right. Down here a little farther, War Sniper says, doing good, only, he's doing good, only I have headaches and sometimes In some moments, I can only work for an hour and then I go back home with a heavy headache. Is it like if it's bleeding up from lower in the neck up into your spine, you need to do some find an actual physical therapist and they'll show you the stretches you need to do, because that's what happened to me. I didn't know because I was sitting so long that my shoulder blades were out of whack, and that causes a lot of pain to go up into your head. You would think it would hurt your back, but I don't know. It's just the way it is. Aside from that, also, if you lean forward a lot, yeah, that'll do it. All I can say is try chiropractic. I don't know if the acupuncture is going to work for headaches. I know it works for the lower back. That has been proven a lot. But yeah, you might need to get your back cracked. Either that or you got a bug you don't know about. That's the only thing I can think of. All I can say is take care of it. If you have to, go get your blood drawn and have them check for literally everything. I did that once and they came back and said, yeah, you need to take these 30 pills for the next month to clear out some of the crap in your body. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Guard here says, why not do some one-offs for a month or two, then maybe like 1 or 2 weeks or a month and dedicate it to series? That's actually the plan, Guard. I plan on doing the rest of this month and into next month is going to be one-off. And then later in December is going to be, well, the plan was to do Ambush Predators again, but if you guys want the Isekai, I'll work on that one too. Or I should say instead. Because I honestly, I've tried to do multiple series at a time, one day and then one another, then going back, and I just got really confused. It actually got to the point where I hit my head into that wall, the one you can't see, and it was, I was just like, get this straight, because I was cross-wiring it, and I don't want to do that. But that's actually a good one, Guard. I mean, like I said, that's the plan. And by the way, I can't forget what series I still got to finish, because the stack is right there. It's almost within arm's reach, unless I, get off the thing for a little bit. Anyways, down here, Alan says, I thought about how a large cargo transport droned into a supersized Claymore. Droned into a supersized Claymore in the center, jump enemy fleet. That's actually a really good idea. Basically a big fire ship. Cargo ship Claymore in fleet. Okay, I'm going to put that one down, Alan, because that's actually really good. I mean, if you're doing micro jumps, that would be a good one. And I'm all about that, because I firmly believe that if we truly master FTL, if we're in some sort of conflict, micro jumps are going to be common. However, if they become too common, what's going to happen is you're going to have one ship jump and then another one not realize to jump in the same spot. But as you know, once you have the molecules coming back into reality at the same time, you're going to hit critical mass and they're just going to explode. I mean, that's just common sense. And if you don't believe that that's how that would happen, understand that compression ratio is actually how diesel engines work. And, all they're doing is squeezing the molecules to create an explosion. Well, you can do the same thing with pretty much everything. You could do that with the human body. You would just need to crush it extremely fast into a tiny little vacuum, into a tiny little space, and everything in us, to include the water, would catch fire. Kind of a messed up thing to think about, but that's just the way it goes. All right. Jumping down here and going past the super chats here. Thanks again, everybody, for super chatting. I appreciate it. Guardian says, speak of foreign military equipment, what are your thoughts on Russian tanks and aircraft? Okay, we're talking about current stuff here. The current Russian Air Force and ground forces, as far as their vehicles, are very, very out of date. The tanks themselves were sitting in a lot, zero maintenance, didn't move for 20 to 30 years. Then they thought, oh, we're just going to put fresh fuel in these things and they're going to start up, not realizing that's not how things operate. They had to cannibalize at least a dozen tanks to get one or two operational, and that takes time. A lot of them, the main guns didn't operate, the turrets didn't move, the engines were seized up, whatever it was. The fact that they're still trying to fight on the tactics they're using over open area is the same thing as basically World War II in Korea is really fucking stupid. However, the topography they're in is nothing but open fields. So there's very little you can do, which would be perfect for air power. That being said, they don't have the upgraded missile systems or the upgraded systems inside their old MiGs to actually use said systems. They're trying to mix the old and the new, and they don't work together. That's what I'm getting at. The Russian tanks are becoming drone bait, and the aircraft, not only do their pilots just not have enough flight hours, but they're not new enough, I can't say it any other way, to actually get in and strike targets where they need to be struck. They also need to get people in close and use a laser designator to get half of these ordnance to actually hit the damn target, because without that, they're just flying blind. Now, there are missiles that will lock onto just simple heat signatures, and a lot of these MiGs have a sensor that a lot of our newer planes are missing, which means you don't even have to have your radar on. It literally locks onto the ass end of the bird as long as you get behind it, and you don't get away. The only aircraft that can get away is the F-22 because of the way its vectors in the back operate. All they have to do is power down and they close, and then it has no heat to grab onto to actually chase it. That being said, you better have a pretty good pilot to realize when a vampire is about to close in and shove itself up that bird's ass. But the tanks themselves and the aircraft were good for their time. They are outdated. Pure and simple, they're outdated. Are they still dangerous? Yes. They're just outdated. Let's see. Ernest here says, late now, but I'm here. Yes, you are. Lena jumps in and says, there are some human model Cylons in modern Battlestar Galactica, but they are not the same thing as proto-Cylons from Kabul. I don't know how to say that. I'll take your word for it. I was never a really big Battlestar Galactica fan, even as a kid, because a lot of it, I basically understood Newtonian physics when I was a kid. And I'm sitting there like, isn't space empty? Why are they flying around like it's got air in it? You know, my suspension of disbelief didn't go that far. I don't know why. It just didn't work for me. Now I look at the way they do it, and they try to work with Newtonian physics, but they still have this weird thing about you need a runway to land. I'm like, you're in zero G, motherfucker. Hit your retros and just slowly lower yourself. You don't have to go in and slide to a stop. That doesn't make sense. But whatever. I didn't write it. I'll take your word on the whole thing about the proto-Cylons because I am lost. I don't watch the show. It'd be like me talking about 40K. I can't talk about what I don't know about. Whoa, this thing. I hate when this thing jumps, guys. It just it literally shot down to one side. Okay. Let's see. War Sniper says, Sin, I might be lesser on the stream because my sleep starts to kick in sometime around midnight. So, you know, hey, no worries. If you're here, you're here. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who even tries to get on the stream. Okay. I'm not going to argue with it at all. I appreciate every single one of you, even without the donations. I appreciate y'all being here. I want to make that clear because without you guys, what am I doing here? This channel wouldn't exist. I would have shut it down a long time ago. I understand as a creator, without my fans, I got nothing. Okay? It's pure and simple. So I want you all to understand, I do appreciate every single one of you. Even just being here means a lot. All right. So let's get back to this. Let me wet my whistle here with my wonderful coffee cup. I hope you guys like the cup. Had that in front of my trainees once, and I got in trouble for it, and I didn't care. Okay. Ernest says, Galactic Law, don't let the humans near the radio. I did that story already. If that's a little thing for the story, I already did that. It's literally called Who Let the Humans on the Net. And if I was actually have my channel open, I would go through and I would click on it and send you the link. But it is there. Yeah. And basically, it's along the lines of what happens when you let a PFC or a specialist with a radio and they have the ability to call in whatever. Look out. Okay. Demon here says he's laughing. I do the same. I do that every single time I wake up early and roll over, look at the time and say, hey, I got 2 more hours, roll back to sleep through the alarm. Doesn't matter what my alarm is. Yeah. The key thing with the alarms is this. You set it for the same time every single day, regardless. Whenever you're going to wake up that day, you have it on the same time. That way, eventually your body will develop a time and you're going to wake up and go, oh, what time is it? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit, that's bright. Oh, fuck. Oh, 2 minutes before the alarm goes off. Okay. And then you just sit up and you get to it because you woke up normally. It's better than being jarred awake. And, excuse me. And one of the things is you want to make sure you actually get up with your alarm. Because if you roll back asleep, you're going to get in a habit of rolling back to sleep and sleeping through the alarm. I've been there. I've done that. I got the t-shirt. Not this one, but I did get the t-shirt on that. And I got chewed out something fierce for it. It's kind of bad when you hear, hey, wake up. You're late for PT. What's it? Oh, fuck me. That's usually all you hear through the door. And you just hear them running around trying to put their stuff on. But it is what it is. But yeah, it just remember that to first off, don't look at your phone when you're trying to sleep. The blue light will keep you awake. Secondly, when the alarm goes off, make sure you drag yourself up no matter what. Thirdly, if you wake up right before the phone, you might as well get up and just take the couple minutes and go, okay, I can relax now. Let's see. Erica's here says, how different some people sound on military radios versus real life. Well, see, I can't really throw that because really all you're doing is the robotic tone of voice that you hear over the military radios is common practice for everybody. However, the tone in which they do things is very distinctive. I can actually tell, or I used to be able to tell, every single person in my battalion. If they were on the net, I knew exactly who was speaking. And we even had one, I kid you not, this is the way he sounded. Rock 16 Romeo. This is Rock 6 Romeo. Radio check. Over. I kid you not, that's what he sounded like. But I mean, once you got past the initial snicker of what you heard, you just responded with, yeah, this is 16 Romeo. Radio check confirmed. Over. Roger, out. And you just kind of deal with it. I mean, it's just, you still sound like you. It's just you have to hit the actual every little bit. It's important. And by the way, over the radio, it's always, hey, you, this is me. Unlike with a phone where you say, hi, I am such and such. I'm looking for such and such. It's the other way around on the radio. Okay. Let's see. Leonid said, drones don't matter if you can just jam radio signals and take out operators, then they can't hurt you. Okay, first off, they've tried that with the radio signals. If you look on some of the drone video, you can actually see they're able to bullseye the jammers. And it's actually kind of crazy. Not to mention, if you look at the Switchblade 300 and 600, they have a dash feature. Once you hit the dash feature, that thing goes perfectly straight, and there's it jammer or not, it's going to hit something and it's going to explode. That thing will dash at somewhere between 90 and 110 miles an hour. It's pretty damn fast. That being said, a lot of the jammers they've found workarounds. They use a different frequency, they use a different hop, they use a different whatever the hell they got to do, and jamming the frequency is pretty much impossible unless you want to be able to jam everything to include the electricals on your device. And for some of the Bradleys, you can't do that because they actually have a type of touchpad in front of the driver, and he needs that so he can operate the system. A lot of these things are extremely electronic now. You can't jam them. If you do, the whole thing doesn't work. And you're literally sitting there with your dick in your hand. Now, as far as taking out the operators, yeah, where are they? That drone has a radius of 20 to 25 miles. Where's the operator? Therein lies the problem. Okay, I have to hold up and I have to wait a minute because we got a $20 super chat from Brian. The Brian Kemp is here. He always is here. How you doing, Brian? I hope you're doing good, and I like that hog that you got on your thumbnail, by the way. He says, enjoying the stories. Thanks for the work, and a big thank you for your service. Well, you are quite welcome because it's what I do. Thankfully, I don't have to go hunt people anymore. I just have to go up and wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I can walk up this fucking hill so I can try to hunt the deer. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything from that except that buck the first day, and I'm getting a little frustrated. But main reason is it's not hunting season for everybody, just landowners. So nobody's pushing the deer around. And they did a lot of landscaping at my neighbor's place. So it's possible the deer aren't even close because that used to be a place they like to hang out and eat. But thank you again, Brian. I appreciate it. I very much appreciate that. I appreciate everybody here. And let's get back to the chats here so I can get to where what I don't even know where the hell I was here. But okay, the operator thing. All I can say is good luck finding them. That's it. I could sit there with one of these switchblades. No kidding. I've actually practiced with this. I didn't realize this is what we were setting up for because they weren't even being used yet. We were using Ravens at that point, which is literally a drone you had to run up and throw. Well, we had to get a bunch of them in the air. So we're just inside a tree line, maybe 20, 30 meters. We run up and we're like, get the Ravens in the air. And we all run up and you just hear all the fans go. And we threw them off. They went. By the time they got to 100 feet, all our guys are back in the woods and the operator's just sitting there going crazy on it. So let me get down here. We got another $5 super chat to Guardian Sage. He says, happy Veterans Day to us. Or is that the U.S.? Well, it's not capitalized, so it's us. Yes. Happy Veterans Day to everybody. I do hope you had a good day. I hope you had an extra day off. That'd be nice. I actually had to go talk to a school, and yeah, it's not so fun when somebody who's there, who's a prior Marine, who's also a liberal, who's also a teacher, who's also a feminist, decides she doesn't like what you say. Long story. I'm not going to get into it. Anyway. Thank you very much, Sage. I greatly appreciate it, along with Brian and everybody else. And let's get back to it. Let's see. So anyway, as far as the operators go, yeah. Where the hell was I? Wow, I'm having trouble finding where the hell I was. Okay, I'll just start right here. Oh, there. Yeah, here it is. Okay, Guard says, I think I may have worded it wrong, but pretty much it keeps the entire thing. Think of it has a big ass metal door, so in case the ammunition gets struck, the blowout panels were okay. Okay, so the actual magazine has a way to disperse the. Okay. Let's see. Guard also says, but now the ammunition rack rotates and hands out the shell every time the gun is fired. It might work. I'm just not a fan of the side loaders. They just seem to fail constantly. Let's see. He continues with, so it keeps the protection of the modern Abrams, which has the humongous, pretty much block of metal that protects the crew in case the ammunition is struck. But now the ammunition comes out. Oh, but now the ammunition comes out. Okay. Hey, if the crew survives, great. Just get them another tank. The thing is that ammo magazine blows. The chance of people getting out is pretty negligible. We got Bite Me saying, sorry I'm late, fell asleep. No worries. No worries. No worries. You guys heard me say that. Demon says, you make more profit curing the symptoms than the actual problem. Yeah. That's why it's the medical industry. It's not a doctor anymore. I don't go see a doctor. I see a medical professional. Actually, I got to call the VA again. They're supposed to send me an appointment for a chiropractor, but I still haven't got the little slip they're supposed to send me. Yeah, my back's a little screwed up. Probably all that time with the rucksack on. Oh, it's not a problem for all that weight. Yeah, bullshit. Ugh. War Sniper says, I've gone to sleep. I have to go night. Everybody. See you, War Sniper. I'll see what I can do about getting them Kosunes on there. And yeah, fun stuff. Okay. Leonid says, do you know what the Daedalus class ship supposed to be in Star Trek? Daedalus class. I'm not super versed in Trekkie Trek because honestly, they piss me off. I can't. The reason I can't watch Trek outside of next gen stuff, the next generation. Well, the next generation, one, the actors did a really good job. Okay. Secondly, it stayed true to its premise. They're going out and they got this massive ship that they can live on for years and years and years while they go and see what's out there. Okay, fine. Everybody else, and that's one of the few shows where the captain is not just a total tool bag. Okay. If you talk about the captain from the first one, I wonder what type of acting classes he might have taken. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, dude, what the fuck is wrong? What are you on? Seriously, what is wrong with your brain? How the hell did you make captain? And seriously, somebody staple gun his pants onto his body because it's like he's allergic to his pants as soon as he sees some alien punani. I mean, seriously, what the hell? And then a lot of people are like, did you like Voyager? No, because everything there was supposed to be this super fantastical whatever in the hell. And I'm sitting there like, how in the hell did you keep this ship that has not seen a space dock in years look like it just got birthed from the docks? How do you do that? You don't. The whole Lost in Space element is gone. It's not there. And everything just happens to tie up in a nice little bow, no matter how bad the situation is. And I'm like, this is pandering. This is not the Trek that you want. And then you have DS9. Oh, God help us. Oh, God help us. Not only did they rip off everything from Babylon 5, but remember what I said about the captains of the ship? By the way, Janeway was a total bitch. I mean, seriously, if something didn't go her way, she was always, I'm better than, I am the one better than you, no matter what. I could act like a total asshole, but the narration says that I'm so great. Fuck off. But the DS9, I swear to God, he sounds like he should be sitting there doing Macbeth. The way he does things, it's like something from the set, like a magician in the 70s. And now my greatest trick. And it's like, oh my God, dude, shut the fuck up. It's the only thing that made that show worthwhile was the side characters. The bartender guy. That actor was awesome. He did a great job. The guy who played the tailor, holy fuck, did he do a good job? Okay, and you got the doc. He was okay. He did pretty good. You had the engineer, which of course had to be a Scotty ripoff. He did a good job. And I've seen him in other stuff. He's a really good actor. But actors can only do so much with a shit script. And a lot of it was garbage. It was just terrible. It didn't make a lick of sense. But you get certain characters together and just let the actors do what they do. It was really good. But as far as the actual different classes of ships, I am lost. Sorry about going on a side rant, guys, but that's just, yeah. I get annoyed by the Treks because everyone's like, oh, the captain's so great. Which one's the best captain? Well, they all suck. -1 because he wasn't trying to be like the greatest of all. He knew he was a captain of a ship and that he acted like a captain of a fucking ship. So there you go. He's always asking for help from other people. He's not saying, I'm so good at this and that and the other thing. So let's see. War Sniper here saying, I think my headaches come from that I don't get enough sleep and that I need to wake up in the mornings, and that breaks me down because I'm not a morning person and it makes me sick. Well, not getting enough sleep will do that. The best way to know if that's it, if not only do you sleep through the alarm, but you end up sleeping for an exceptional amount of time once every week to 2 weeks. If that's it, you need to adjust your sleep schedule. There's no other way around that. Bite Me says, did you hear about the asymmetric capacitor anti-gravity system just announced? No. Can't say I did. Let me write that down. Asymmetric. Why does this sound familiar? Capacitor. Okay. And okay. The thing is, when it comes to any anti-gravity, one thing you got to remember is that it is against the law to have any of that. If you had any type of anti-gravity system, it actually says in the patent office, if you have any anti-gravity, they will patent it. They will give it a number, and then they will wrap it up in so much red tape that you won't even know what the fuck is there. No one will be able to touch it because that is considered a threat to national security or some such jargon. And I'm just like, you guys suck. Because that's one of the key things. You get anti-grav, or actually it's repulsor if you want to break it down, then a lot of this stuff is going to be unbelievably changed. One of the main things, if said technology is released, the one thing you have to do is you change the trailers on the big rigs to this type of system. And those big rigs, you can make a lot lighter engine and you can still get to where you're going a whole lot faster with a lot less fuel. You still need something on the ground with enough tension on the ground to actually hit the brakes. But that type of system will actually change everything there. If I was to basically, as soon as I got on the highway, flick a switch and it's like I'm in a bobtail rig, i.e. one without a trailer, I'm only burning half the fuel and I don't have to slow down going up a hill. It's going to get things there faster, cheaper, which is going to pay off for everybody. But I'm going to have to look that up because I'm not sure. I'm glad you brought that up, Bite Me. I'll look it up. Guardian says, sort of like when we try to test fire old pack missiles, they tend to misfire. Yes, they do. They misfire a lot. Actually, a lot of the javelins, they've been sitting too long. And they'll literally go spit, drop. I mean, they go like 6 feet. Some of them won't even fully leave the tube, which honestly, whoever has got that thing on their shoulder, I will not hold it against them if they shit themselves. Now, the thing is, you got to remember there's a minimum arcing range for those, for all missiles, actually. It's a safety feature. I still remember I was the OC, Observer Controller, in Germany, And one of the LTs thought it'd be fun to set up his track. So I'll use this hand, set up his track, and the opposing force was coming out this way, and they were feet from each other. And he fired, and I'm sitting there, and I got my blue God gun. Yes, it's bright blue, and yes, we call it the God gun because it can kill anybody. And I'm like, okay, I hope he backs up. I pray he backs up. Please back up. He fired, and he's waiting for me to God gun the other one. I'm like, nope. I'm just standing there. He's like, what are you doing? Waiting. The other guy pulled forward, turned his turret, fired because he's in an actual tank. Now, all it is a big speaker go poof, and then it fires the laser. And he said, no, what's wrong? I run up and go, minimum arming range, sir. And he goes, oh, fuck. He didn't, it was actually laughing because he was like, I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, with a lot of those missiles, they can't sit for too long. Okay. Leonid says, well, the Russian White Swan bomber is practically a brand new jet, and it can fire missiles from its rear now. Most of the bombers that Russia's had can always fire something out of its ass. It's just not something they put out often because they didn't want people to think that you're going to actually run away. It was kind of a pride thing, but a practical thing to actually be able to fire a defensive weapon backwards. Or in their case, an offensive weapon. Alan says, on Russian equipment, over half of the internal components are Western tech. Yeah. The fact that everybody is intermixed as far as where they get their parts is got to be the dumbest shit we got going. Just stupid. But Ernest saying, I listened to that story. It must have been when I was talking about something else. Leonid says, the new Battlestar Galactica tried to insert the classic Battlestar Galactic Cylon ships designs into video games, but those things look extremely silly. Yes, they do. They look extremely goofy, and they don't make a lot of practical sense. They were set up to be the losing force, and because of that, again, plot armor. Plot armor can be great, but it's overused. It's literally why the Fast and the Furious franchise is, people look at it like, why would I watch it? You know they're all going to survive, and even if they don't, they're going to bring them back into movies anyway. It's just nuts. It is absolutely freaking nuts. But you're right. They look dumb, and the weapons complement is bullshit. Guard says the Sin is the kind of guy that if he got locked in a room with all his subscribers, fans, they would help him break out of the room without even needing to ask. Well, I'd like to think so. Of course, if all my fans are locking me in the room, I'd be like, you guys ain't gonna break my ankles and force me to write another chapter, are you? What the fuck, guys? You guys know where I'm going with that, little Kathy Bates, batter up. Okay. Ernest says, try how people talk on CBS radio. I did that. How do you think I got the Galactic War Games? And here he goes firing off this weapon system, and they're moving on to, the CBS Wild World of Sports. God damn, I can't even speak anymore. That's where that actually came from. That was the inspiration, and you guys seem to like it. Actually, the very first Galactic War Games, that was it's in the top 10 of most watched videos I have, and I do appreciate that. Of course, if the rest of my stuff had half that many views, I probably wouldn't need a live stream, but I'd still do it anyway. Anyways, Lenin says, well, half of the Western equipment comes from China or Taiwan, depends on how you look at it. They actually made a joke about that in the old movie Armageddon, where it's like, we don't know the components, Russian components, American components, all made in Taiwan. And it was right. That's what made it funny. True stuff is always the funniest shit. Let's see. Bite Me is also jumping in. Says or ham radio. However, on SSB, if you turned a few kilohertz off, voices sound tiny and robotic. Yeah, that's true. That's why a lot of these they're dialed in a certain way so you can actually hear that. But yeah, if they adjusted, you are right on that. Eric is saying, I sounded like a 13-year-old girl. Like, you're not? I don't know. You don't show your picture. So anyway, don't worry. I'm trying not to be truly outrageous with you, Erica. Truly, I swear. Demon saying, isn't it better to sound and look younger? Then you should look older. Okay. See, that's going to be the fun thing. When they finally release the regen stuff, a lot of the the social stuff that's going to happen, guys, I would need a full hour with a very large dry erase board to go over all the different aspects that are going to change when that happens. I touched on that a little bit when one of my first stories, and I forget what the hell I called it, but it's basically, can you really still call them human? Or what does it mean to be human or something like that? Because if there's no expiry date, well, what do? You get all the time in the world. Do you just sit on your laurels, or do you go out and do something? Do you slowly build up until you got all this stuff? What do you do? It's really up to each person. But I will say this, and I have checked with a lot of people on that. Given the option, if they wanted to basically bring themselves back to a younger age and stay that younger age where they don't have to worry about their body degrading, there's a good portion, from what I could see, anywhere from 5 to 12% that wouldn't take it. You'd have another probably 40% of all those who did do something like that would eventually choose to end things. Eventually. It might take a century, but for others, it might only take a few years. Some people just don't like the way they are, and if they don't have the ability to change the body itself, that's what the CRISPR program will do, then they would hate it. They would absolutely hate it. That being said, you mix the two, the CRISPR program with the regen and all this other fun stuff, and you're going to have kind of like how it was on ambush predators. That's actually kind of the point. You notice those folks who change themselves like that are the ones that are way off in the ether dealing with other aliens. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So that's what I was getting at with that one. You notice that one of the characters, she made herself extremely attractive and turned herself basically into a little succubus with wings included. I still can't do that movement without thinking of the old Batman movie, where Joker's asking Vicky about Batman's, what do you know about, Jack Nicholson had so much fun with that role. Let's see. Okay, Ernest said, I meant how people talk on CB radio, also known as citizen band radio. Yeah. Now, the thing with the citizen band, I actually had to have somebody teach me how to officially talk on that, because there is a certain lingo you have to go by. The whole thing, breaker 19, this usually not it. Everybody knows what frequency you're on. The only time you do that is when you're calling people over from another frequency to said frequency. That being said, it's still a kind of a you versus me type of thing, but it's a lot more laid back. But there's certain things you don't say on there. You don't say Smokey, you don't say Bear, you don't say Kojak, you don't say a lot of things because people think all those are police. Okay, Lena says radio emissions from your cell phones or from your radio equipment, then the hypersonic missile will already know your location. Yeah, if you have it on you. I know people who don't officially exist. First off, their phones are set up specifically so they cannot be tracked. They have some very, very good crackers. When they talk about a ghost chip, that is a thing, but that's not all. You actually have to pull certain parts out of said phone before you can use it. Not to mention, it will never save a number and things like that, unless it's a phone set up to, as soon as you open it, it immediately dials said number. I've known somebody who does that. It's like, dude, seriously, are you a spook or something? He goes, yeah, how'd you know? So, the phone gave you away, dumbass. He's like, oh, I didn't think you guys would notice. Without skipping a beat, one of the guys next to me goes, how dumb do you think we are? Don't answer that. It's like, smart ass. All right. But yeah, the standard radio that you would actually be carrying, as far as the ASIP radio, once it's turned off, it puts out nothing. You can also just pull the battery on it. And as long as you know the frequency and have something to fill it, you're good to go. See, Bite Me says, I think Shatner spoke that way to be different, like others dress up or make up. Yeah, well, still, it sounded goofy. I'm sitting there like, no. He also says DS9 was sued by JMS for ripping off Babylon 5, and they settled out of court. Yes, I do remember that. And there was some back and forth on, which one came first. And eventually, yeah, they did have to go to court. And if you actually watch DS9, there's like a 1 or 2 season where they have almost no special effects. They have sets, but they have like no special effects, except for, the lights going by on the sides of the ships. That's about it. But that's the reason why they got in some deep shit. Leonid says, Voyager was not so bad considering the fact the Federation experimented with transformer ships that could split apart into multiple ships. That was, the fact that I remember this is kind of sad. That being said, I did actually see that episode when it aired. I didn't know how stupid it was when I watched it. But yeah, the idea of that was, believe it or not, something that, how do I put this? The old idea of having a large aircraft carrying other fighter aircraft, even though that large aircraft itself was a bomber, it's under the same premise. You're multiplying your ability to fight. It is actually called combat multiplying. It kind of worked because they're no longer firing at one target. They're trying to fire at 3 separate targets. So if they think, oh, it's just a one-on-one fight, then suddenly that thing splits into 3 pieces. Now they're like, oh, fuck, which one do we aim at? And while they're trying to take one, they're getting their ass kicked by the other 2. So it kind of makes sense in a way, but that's like a spec ops thing. It just seems like way too many pieces. Let's see. Demon says Picard and Archer were my 2 favorite captains in Trek. I did not see the one with Archer, so I can't say. I know some people praise that one for being that series for being much more grounded. That being said, I still didn't see it, so I can't say nothing. Guard says the YouTuber Brandon Herrera has plans on suing Activision for stealing his AK-50 design and calling it a Call of Duty original gun design, not even 2 weeks after he originally finished it. Wow, really? You got to be careful on that. That's one of the reasons that certain things I won't do or can't because of copyright. And the last thing I need is to get sued. I mean, they might not sue me, but they'll shut the channel down. Anyway, thought I saw something floating in there. Is it not? But yeah, that's interesting. There's actually, believe it or not, there's a new type of weapon being brought out for the U.S. Army. It's basically going back to the 308 design, 7.62 by 51, and that thing will go through a cinder block wall like it's nothing. The 5.56 we use now can easily stop by a sandbag. The only thing is you need to be pretty strong to carry something with heavy ammo like that. And unfortunately, Xbox bodies on everybody. It's not just the US, it's everybody. But hopefully, when people start eating real food, they start getting their bodies back. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Bite me. Oh, he says to War Sniper, my migraines are triggered by changes in biometric pressure. Something I can't. Oh, fuck. I get those too. I get those in particular when it suddenly gets cold or suddenly gets hot outside. It's the spring and the fall. Mostly for me, it's in the fall, the very beginning of the fall, that first cold day. I am just about ready to scream. My sister, she gets them really bad in the spring too, but she gets them really bad in the fall. I don't know what happens with those. I believe you need to see one of those nose and throat docs on that one. But don't quote me on that. Let's see. Demon says a lot of companies try that stuff all the time. Yeah, when they just kind of steal stuff. That's one of the things. Thankfully, I haven't gotten any crap from people who design the stuff for the thumbnails because they're all open use stuff. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, nobody tries to come and sue me because that would suck. Again, if somebody tried to sue me, this channel I would just do a final video as this is what's happening, and it's going to be shut down. Click. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I like doing this channel. It helps me out mentally. I get some of the stuff out, and you guys get to enjoy. I hope. All right. Demon says a lot of. Okay, I already read that one. Guard says a very annoying fact. Why do you got to annoy us? The right side of the Abrams turret in the front is shorter than the left because the machine gun next to the cannon. Yeah, the coax. Yeah. That's normal. That's actually fairly normal for anything. They got to make room for it. Hell, the Bradley turret's the same way. The coax is usually a 240 heavy machine gun, and for most of the tanks I've seen, they don't use the 240. They use the M250. So you got a really big gun right next to a lot bigger gun. So are you going to say nothing because the ouch is coming? Or are you going to never say anything again because the big ouch is coming? So, yeah. Lena says, Data's class uses spherical ship design instead of saucer. Nobody really knows what it does or when it is because one of those lost airships. I think somebody was trying to be original. Just like that one they have for that really god-awful cartoon. The design makes zero freaking sense. I mean, at all. At all. And people have actually broke down the dimensions of that cartoon ship, and they're just like, why? Nothing here makes sense. Everything's too small to move through. You got to get to engineering. You better lose 50 pounds and suck it in. Doesn't make any sense. That show is god awful anyway. So, but like I said before, you give me, I don't know, 2 episodes back to back, and without their woke agenda being in there, and I could fix that entire show. It's not that hard to do. It just takes a long time to actually go through all the pieces. And then you actually find out who the true villain is. And it's not who you think. It never is. Okay, let's see. Lena says, I kind of like the theory that talks about how Warhammer 40K could be connected to the classic Trek with Emperor Khan. Well, since I'm not a 40K fan, I mean, I like their cinematics, don't get me wrong. And I'm not up to date with any of the classic Trek at all. I got to take your word for it, Lena. It's just the way it is. Let's see. Guardian Sage says the Daedalus class was supposed to have been the workhorse of the fleet during the Earth Romulan War. I think I said that right. Which means that they were built at some point before the founding of the Federation. Oh, so they're antiques. Be careful with it. You know, you're going to have to be very careful with those balls because you might break those balls if you're not careful. They're so old that you need to just cradle them and make sure they don't crumble. And, you know, they might not be as powerful as they used to be. I mean, some of the weapons, you know, might not shoot off as good as they used to. You know, it might have some fatigue, a couple of wear lines, you know. I could keep going with this, but unfortunately, I got too many jokes going through my head. But you get the point. But yeah, if they're antiques, they're antiques. It is what it is. Lena said, Isekai protagonists will always try to reinvent Japanese food in the Western European fantasy world. Yeah, that's becoming very, very common. It's just, it can be done really well. However, it can also be done shitty. The one they did where he's a farmer, and they actually had to create stuff and realize that if you're using a lot of crops that are only made in the United States, well, you're going to have a lot of meals that are based in this side of the pond. However, he still does hot pots, which hot pots are not a thing here. Stew is. They still did the rice balls. What is it with balls? I mean, seriously, these guys are obsessed with the balls. You put rice balls in front of a Japanese person, they're just like they want to eat the balls. Whatever. Balls in the mouth, whatever. Anyway, but that one was okay because eventually what it did was eventually he got what he needed to create Japanese cuisine and he rotated over, which was fine. I got no problems with that. But just going straight into Japanese cuisine, I'm just like, no. Because you might be missing one of the key ingredients. I mean, you can get, if you're trying to buy saffron even back in the Middle Ages or medieval times, good fucking luck. That shit was expensive. It's expensive now. Demon says, technically, Ash from Evil Dead was an isekai protagonist. This is my boomstick. Yeah, it's true. It was ideal. I think you want to say ideal. Yeah, the problem is he didn't have a lot of rounds for it, but it worked. See, Demon says, I don't want to go to work tonight. It's supposed to be a low in the 20s tonight, and that's too cold. Yeah, I was hunting in it this morning, and it was bad. Once you stop moving, you got about 20 minutes of, okay, this isn't so bad. And then you start slowly squeezing everything together around all your cushy shit that you're wearing. And yeah, you just, oof. It's kind of bad. But then stuff starts moving and suddenly your heart rate's up. It's like, is that a deer? Is that, oh, fuck, it's turkeys. I might as well just leave. Turkeys and deer don't like being around each other much. And yeah, if next time I see a flock of turkeys, I'm just going to get up and leave. It's not turkey season, so I can't take them. I mean, I could, I just won't. A few entendre sins. Ouch. Yeah, just a few. Guard says, yeah, I finally read all 44 available chapters to the manga that I said was like Gate. Hold on, it's this thing. Okay, here we go. Sorry, this thing jumped on me. 44 chapters in the manga that said was like Gate, and it turns out it's drastically different. Okay. Like it's got a mixture of so many different timelines. You go medieval, you got Egyptian, you got early age World War, which World War? Oh, there you go, World War One. Sorry, I saw the period. I thought you were done. And you have colonial era all mixed into one world and with magic. And the Japanese aren't invincible. That's a new one because usually, kind of like American cinema, they make us invincible. But you know, it is what it is. I tried watching that one you guys said where Japan, all of Japan got isekai'd and they basically became the America of that area. If you move the entire country, yes, but there's one major problem. The fact that they would run out of fuel really, really fast. They actually have to import a lot of their, actually almost all of their oil. If you just took Japan itself, there is no oil there. There's some coal, but there's no oil there. You would be hard pressed to be making your own biofuels. It would be difficult at best. And that's always one of the things they always throw out when somebody moves to or goes to a different world. If you got some sort of motor that doesn't run on magic, you're pretty much fucked. Because it's going to go until the tank's dry, and then what are you going to do? Push it? No. Well, I guess they'd be sweaty if they got too close to the sun. He's talking about sweaty balls. Okay, Erica says, Demon, go to the military surplus and you get a fuzzy green coat with a waffle shirt. Yeah, this it's made of the waffles is polypropylene, which used to be, before it was waffles, it was known as Laugh at the Cold underwear because it worked. The waffles allow more of the heat from your body to flow with the air to everywhere else. They are so much better. Oh my God. That you put that and the standard soft shell over top, and you could just walk through the snow and not give a shit. How do I know? I was in Fort Drum, upstate New York, trudging through knee-deep snow in that shit, and did not give a fuck about how cold I was, because I wasn't cold. I was actually kind of warm. I had to take my neck gaiter off because I was freaking sweating. As far as the fleece jacket, they look okay, but they kind of suck. I mean, they'll help a little bit, but you're better off with the actual field jacket. Guard says, yeah, but the colonists had attacked one of the middle-aged countries and captured a bunch of Japanese people who were torturing there and then executed them and pretty much broadcasted it. Oh, hell. That, I'm guessing, was a very bad idea. Dio is an animator. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure where Dio comes from there, Demon, so I'll take your word for it. Bite Me says, I'm playing AI Dungeon when on a live stream. It's pretty hilarious, some of the stuff it comes up with. Why not? Let's see. Guard also says, oh, what the hell? Oh, something disconnected? What the hell happened? Okay, I didn't see this, guys. Hopefully you guys are still on here. I mean, I see a viewer count in the corner here, so it's there. So yeah, I'll jump down here to Guard. You were expecting your loyal subscriber, motherfucker, MTF, but it was the Dio the whole time. Woo. Okay, why not? I know I must be missing the reference there. Oh, by the way, up here it says Dragon Age was a complete disaster. I'll take your word for it. Demon says, I love the Dragon Age series, but I 100% want nothing to do with that shit Guard. It was too preachy. Keep your gender politics BS out of my dark fan. Yes, for the love of God, they need to keep their woke bullshit away, as far away as possible. Because nobody wants that. Leonid's saying, I don't know, Japanese deflecting bullets with swords yes, it is. It is 100% a trope, because according to them, the sword is greater than anything. In particular, the katana is better than everything, because you will actually see in several of them where somebody pulls up a friggin' Taj and Dirk and they're getting ready to go, which, if you don't know, is the like fencing type of sword that the French used to have, and they'll just hack it to pieces with a katana. And then they'll be like, well, let's just pull out a broadsword, a double-handed broadsword, and all of a sudden, joink, and they'll just cut it in half. Like, oh, what the fuck? The katanas, it can cut through anything. Cut through rock. It'll cut through diamond. Yeah, bullshit. It's good to slice. It is good for absolutely nothing. It's a specialized weapon. It is very specialized. Unfortunately, once that specialization can be countered, it's pretty useless. Which is why the whole idea between a samurai and a knight, the samurai always loses. A samurai's weapons and tactics are designed to fight unarmored personnel, with the exception of one or two of their weapons. Everything a knight carries and fights with is designed to fight a armored opponent. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's okay. Let's see. Ernest saying convert engine to steam. Yeah, you would have to, or wood gasifier if you know how to do that. Demon says JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is what it's from. I don't know if I ever seen it. I know I'm way behind on a lot of the anime stuff, guys. So it is what it is. Let's see. Bite Me says Shreddy Ballsack was an SNL skit with Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin. I hope she survived. If she's on stage with Alec Baldwin, she better duck or get behind something that's bulletproof. Okay, Bite Me saying you're still on. Yeah, the thing is, I see a thing here. It says chat disconnected. Then it says successfully connected all of a sudden. I was like, what the hell is that? Demon says, that's something that drives me insane. All guns use 100% useless against the monster or demon, but your basic kitchen knife kills it no problem. I call bullshit. I do too. Because it's just one of those things where they want to say their classics are better than everybody else. And it falls into the same trope that a lot of the European shit comes down to, saying, oh, well, especially like the UK when they did Kingsman. Oh, we're so much better. Why? Because we're British. What the fuck, Over? That doesn't make any sense. That's one of the reasons why I can't stand watching 007. He's literally, I'm better because I'm British. You suck a dick. Lena says, anime has to nerf the guns because they're too powerful. I say, why? Because the thing is, a few times you can actually make it happen where, yeah, guns would be pointless because everybody, say you use protective shield magic, all you're going to do is push someone back from the concussion, then yeah, guns will be useless. That being said, in certain situations, it's still going to work out for you. But you got to remember, there's one, I don't know if they still do it, but there was a manga where the guy isekai'd and he ended up using harpies as bombers. And nobody is able to fight against no matter what type of magic you use, nobody can fight against the explosive power, the concussive force that comes out of there. And yeah, that was actually a pretty slick way of doing it. I mean, but yeah, the whole thing about, oh, we can't have guns because it's too bad. That's like being over here and say you can't use guns because of my fifis. Whatever. I just, that's why in the isekai I did, the guy's like, put the gun down, dude. Don't fuck with it. It's not gonna do anything. You don't know what you're doing. Bang! Shoots himself in the fucking head. It's like, you dumbass. If I remember correctly, that's what he yells at the guy. You dumbass, and then goes and tries to save him before the guy's heart stops. He's like, I'm sure you guys who have actually listened to that know that one. Leonid also says, there was an anime where the protagonist high school girl uses guns, basically kills everything. I believe you're talking about like Undead High School or something. High School of the Dead, where they're fighting zombies. Yeah. And looks like Guardian's leaving. We're all the way down at the bottom of the chats here. So we're going to be on only for a couple more minutes. Good night there, Sage. And we're going to run over just a couple more of the tropes that I try to avoid, okay? First off is the 5-year-old girl who can beat up every guy there by just farting. I mean, just what the flying fuck knuckles. If I want to see some tiny little girl beat up big guys, I'll watch modern movies nowadays, okay? Which, honestly, screw that shit. It's just annoying. And if I want to see somebody get thrown back from a weapon, I'll just watch YouTube. So anyway, it looks like everybody is calling it a night. So I'm going to call it a night here. And oh shit, hold on. Demon jumped in here. There's another thing that bothers me. Demon Army has a ton of flying monsters, and the good guys have little to no way to fight them off, but still win. Yeah, that actually weirds me out too. I mean, unless you have some sort of magic that can shoot up there, yeah, what the hell? If you rule the sky, you can pretty much rule the ground to a point. Bite Me says swords were abandoned because guns are superior. Like you said, it's a Japanese myth about the sword. Now, can you actually fire a bullet and a katana cut it? Yes, but you have to hit it exactly a certain way. If it's off by about 5 to 6 degrees, it won't work. It just, it's just crazy. But yeah, it's again, it's story driven outcomes, plot armor. I'm sorry, but no. Either it works the whole time or it doesn't. And again, since everybody's leaving, here's your safety brief, guys, before I go off. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to kick his ass. Okay. If your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. If you are in any way, shape, or form near any of the areas that do have hunting, please, 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 please do not wear white. Do not wear brown. There's always some moron who gets plugged because they're walking around and they are actually going, even just walking down the road, and it looks like there's a deer in the woods and some idiot is going to fire around down that way. We don't need anybody getting clipped, okay? It's not worth it. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you here next time. And since everybody's out, I'll see you next time. This is Syntext, and I'm punching out.